I'm Jacob and you're watching the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Today I want to talk to you about the Esee3. We're going to give our initial impressions on the Esee3. But this is not just any old Esee3. This is the Esee3 with the new 3D contoured scales and in S35vn stainless steel. It's pretty special. So what I'm going to do, I will show you the box and everything that comes in, because the Esees come in new boxes. By the way, this is my Hidden Woodsman haversack. Love it. So the new Esee box that this comes in has a nice graphic, as you can see. By the way, this knife was sent to me by a supporter for my birthday. I cannot explain to you how much I appreciate this. All right, so on the inside you get all kinds of little goodies: warranty cards, stickers, survival stuff, a clip for the belt. My box was a little bit damaged and my package has already been opened, so I'm guessing someone has already returned this. However, when I opened it up, it came just like this, already cut and everything like that. I can't find any flaws with it whatsoever. Sharp as can be, straight edge, thin edge, of course. Now, the reason that I'm very excited about this knife, and the reason I can probably give you a bit more information in an initial review than I normally would be able to, is because I have owned this rat cutlery Esee3 or RC3 for quite some time. Really have enjoyed the knife, and I am proud to have been involved in the stainless steel testing that Esee did when they were selecting which stainless steel to start using. Now, I'll put a link to that video here. I'm not, I wish I could have done more. I hope that what I did for them was helpful. However, I was simply proud to be involved in that process to any degree that was possible. So, before we get into any more of that, let's take a close-up look at this knife. Oh, by the way, real quick, in the description box below, there are links to how you can support this channel. Follow me on Instagram, on Facebook. I've got a Patreon where you can support the channel. I've got a website, Beach and Tactical, where I sell tactical and survival products that I make. I've got all kinds of stuff. So we're gonna have all kinds of stuff in the description box below. Please check that out to support this channel. Appreciate it. I'll put the stats for this knife on the screen here, but if you're not familiar, basically you've got an Esee3, belt knife with a 3-inch blade, and the model that I'm talking about, as you already know, is an S35vn. Now, I do have my old RC3 out here because we're not just talking about the steel in the Esee3, we're also talking about the scales. So it's helpful to have one of the older models on hand for this. I must say, in my original video with this RC3, I mentioned that the choil here was a bit too small. For reference, I wear size large gloves, but they're long and slender like everything else. Definitely very slender fingers, and yet still, when I use this choil, I can very easily have some finger meat hang over on the edge. I've never been cut by it, but it's not necessarily comfortable, and I really don't like it. And I complained that it was kind of like a large sharpening choil, too large a sharpening choil or too small a finger choil, and I wished it would be a little larger. Esee answered the call. I don't know at which point they answered the call. This could have been anywhere in, I guess, the past 3 to 5 years probably, but the choil is now larger, much more comfortable. I like it quite a bit, so that issue has been addressed. Your standard Esee3 scales are fairly square. They do have rounded edges and everything. Obviously, this is G10, but they're not bad in hand. And the thing is, on a belt knife of this size, you don't get a lot of shock or vibration when you're working because it's absolutely not a chopper. So to me, handle geometry or contouring isn't quite as important as on one of their larger knives. However, the difference between these two knives and how they feel is huge. So whereas I just said on a smaller knife that the contouring isn't as important, and I would classify this as a comfortable to use belt knife for the most part, the new Esee G10 scales melt into the hand. Boy, that is nice. Like I said, choil's a little bit bigger, very natural handle position. Already I'm a huge fan. This edge came very thin and it is sharp, sharp, sharp. It's always very difficult to show edge thickness in a video. Now, I've also in the past said that if you want an American production knife like an Esee, but a step above Esee in fit and finish and maybe steel selection, to get a White River Knives, a knife from White River Knives, and I still stand by that. However, the S35vn, the fit and finish on this knife is perfect. That finish quality, the smoothness, you can see how, it's certainly not mirror by any stretch of the imagination, but man, is it nice. And that's going to help it to resist corrosion well. One thing that I was disappointed about a little bit is I really hoped that since we don't have a coating on this blade, that we would have a square spine like the PR4, the JG3, or the CR2.5. That is not the case. I think at this point, to me, just about every knife should have a square spine, or at least a place to strike a ferro rod that works well. So I'll have to get that squared up. But overall, first impressions, I really think that Esee has knocked it out of the park with their updates on basically steel and the handle here. The new 3D scales are amazing. I will say that I will probably trade someone for their Esee 3D scales in natural or orange or some other color, just because I like them a lot. So if you've got yourself one of the new orange Esee 3 or 4s, or one of the ones with the natural micarta, and you want black, hit me up. So what's next? Personally, I think that the sheaths, the injection molded sheaths that come with these knives are very nice. With that being said, I hate clips. It kind of comes from my firearms training and experience to some degree. If you have a metal clip that's easy to put on, when you really need it, to stay on, it'll come off. It is a law of nature. It's like one of Newton's laws. And if you've trusted it and it's done well for you for years and years and years, when you really need it, you'll lose spring tension and it'll come off. And I learned the hard way in shooting class with John Farnham. I hate clips. So I would say the next natural step for Esee, they've got Molly backing and some other stuff, but maybe a small update on the sheath. Now, I don't know if there's any value in this at all, but you can definitely see that there's a difference in the finish of the rack cutlery sheath and the newer sheath. You've got this texture in this newer sheath. It looks, I'm sure they're both injection molded or whatever, but the new one looks more injection molded, if that means anything to you at all. So what's next? As you may or may not know, Esee's already broken one of these. They did a video on it. I'll put a link to that up here. Of course, you have to wait a little bit for the link because I can't do it right when I upload the video. But the S35vn has been broken in their S35vn. It does still hold Esee's no questions asked lifetime guarantee, but they did give a little bit of a disclaimer on this knife that if you want a hard use bush knife, that you probably want to consider their more budget friendly or budget focused 1095 steel. I have used their 1095 steel to the breaking point, and it is very, very tough. It is easy to sharpen. It's phenomenal. It's great. So who wants to buy an S35vn blade? Now the MSRP, I might put a correction here if it's wrong, but as of 2020, I think these are selling for about $120. If the very idea of using a knife hard makes you cringe, but you need a stainless blade, maybe for canoe trips, maybe for fishing, maybe for hunting, then I would certainly get the S35vn and spend a little bit of extra money over the 1095. And really, if you are a bushcrafter and maybe I think even if you do baton, look, we're gonna test this knife. We're gonna test it hard because I'm a knife reviewer and that's what people want. They want to see what a knife can take, and I don't think it'll break. We'll be batoning all kinds of kindling for making fires and stuff, and I don't think that this knife will break. But if you wanted the belt knife for the end times apocalypse, where you might have to pry open doors and smash through cinder blocks or whatever, then this wouldn't be the knife I would choose. This is really a aficionado's knife that is in the everyday workman's budget range. What Esee and other production companies are doing with steel choices like CPM S35vn steel and fit and finish in today's day and age and price is nothing short of amazing. I can't believe, since I've been involved in knives, how much I have seen quality, fit and finish, and steel selection improve over the years while keeping prices low. If not, it seems like, you know, if you take out inflation and everything else, it seems like knives are becoming more affordable. Because when I was first getting into this, man, knives were freaking expensive. And I think a lot of them were newer. Potentially you didn't have them out for so long, which of course drives down prices, whatever the case may be. But getting a knife with this level of fit and finish in S35vn is nothing short of amazing. 5 years ago, this would undoubtedly be a premium $250 to $300 knife or a custom. Premium production or custom. And now, it's not only affordable, but it's quite affordable. I'm very excited about this, guys. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs down because it helps my YouTube algorithms. Share it with somebody. If you already have, you know, a little collection of knives, but you want to dip your toes into S35vn, you don't have, let's say you don't have any fixed blades in S35vn, this is an amazing way to do it. I remember, you know, a long time ago when I hadn't used a few of these mainstream steels, particularly CPM 3V and S30V, which was actually one of my first knives, is S30V. But I would jump on any deal on almost any knife in one of these steels because these steels were so expensive and I wanted to try them so bad. This makes it so easy, and the thing is with Esee, you can't lose. Nobody this is a returned knife, so what I'm about to say is wrong, but nobody in their right mind, I do not believe that anybody in their right mind could purchase this knife and be disappointed in what they got for the money. It doesn't seem possible to me. Because even if it's not as tough as you want, someone will trade it it will hold its value, or if you break it, Esee will replace it if there's something wrong with it. There's nothing to not like. The fit and finish is just perfect. You got 3D handle scales. For so long, people complained about Esee knives having too blocky of handle scales, so everybody went to the Knife Connection and bought aftermarket handle scales, which is awesome. But man, this thing is just so good. So I blathered on long enough. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll talk to you soon, and I hope that you have a blessed day.